Welcome to Tokyosaurus. So what's up in Japan? It has been a little crazy over the last few days ever since episode 14 of Darling in the Franxx was aired, and the fan response has been overwhelmingly, let's just say, nuts. And it's not that the episode was bad in any way. In fact, I really enjoyed the last two episodes of Darling in the Franxx, as we finally got the backstory to 02 and of course all the drama. But it seems like all of that was eclipsed by Ichigo, and basically everything she did in episode 14. She instantly became a meme for being the worst character ever, and she will probably stay in the Worst Girl Hall of Fame unless she does something drastic to change her reputation that is, at this point, seemingly impossible to do. But before we go a little deeper into just what happened, I wanted to bring up an issue that was pretty disgusting in my point of view. So, the producer for Darling in the Franxx tweeted out two tweets after the airing of episode 14. One was to thank his staff for their hard work and the audience for their continued support, and the second was about the special ending sequence. Both tweets after the airing got a ton of negative comments and even terrible threats to the director and writer. Some people wanted the writer to be fired, and let's just say there were some really horrible, nasty, and mean comments. And all because they don't like a character in an anime they were watching. I mean, if you don't like what you're watching, you do have a choice in not continuing to watch it. Like, I can understand hating a character in a story, which is probably the intent of the writer in the first place. But in this instance, when the hate transfers from a fictional character to a real-life person, that's when I don't really understand what's going on. And these threats were written in Japanese, English, and Chinese, so it wasn't limited to a certain audience. But I mean, it could be just one or two guys making a bunch of throwaway accounts making all these comments, but still a little excessive. But anyways, on to the actual story and why Ichigo is hated to such a crazy level. Before that, we must understand 02. 02 is pretty much broken at this point. She's been broken for 8 years, living off the thought of becoming human and meeting her darling one day. She never expected to just bump into her darling, as she was expecting her darling as her reward. She wasn't supposed to even meet him before she becomes human, and so when she finally realized that Hiro was her long-lost darling from when she was a child, she really wants to see Hiro and talk to him because she's been doing all these terrible things to him without knowing that Hiro was actually her darling from the past. After coming to the realization that she's been unintentionally hurting the only person she ever cared for, she was also in a very emotional state. Then you got Ichigo. She's obviously in love and has been watching Hiro break again and again, and of course, each time she sees it, she's going through emotional torture as well. But she finally snaps and decides to use everything in her power to keep Hiro safe, which in her mind means keeping 02 as far away as possible from Hiro. She knows that 02 knows what was happening to Hiro while 02 was riding with him, and also that 02 didn't care. So in her head, 02 needed to be eliminated from the picture if Hiro was to stay alive. But what she didn't know was 02's new realization of that Hiro was her darling from her childhood all along. So in the episode, she turns the group against 02. She makes sure everyone is on her side and not 02's. She gets the whole group to keep 02 and Hiro away from each other so they can't even talk, and basically corners 02 until 02 has her own meltdown at the worst time possible. She starts hurting the group physically, and Hiro sees the aftermath. When 02 was about to return to the Nines, Hiro started to break down, and Ichigo decides to force kiss Hiro and make her confession to him while he's at his weakest. So this was where everyone was triggered. Yes, Ichigo goofed here, and at this point I think it's safe to say she just ended her chances at actually being together with Hiro in the end. But I feel like in her head, all she wanted at that moment was to keep Hiro occupied and distracted from going after 02. So she just made her move, but obviously that move was made in her own interest as well. And she also did it in front of Goro, so RIP best bro. So it's easy to see why people would hate her for everything she's done. And then lastly, you got Hiro. Hiro was just way too chill after the revelation. Barely emotional even after getting his memory back, realizing that he might have been used by the person he loved and trusted this whole time. Even after seeing 02 in her crazy state, you would think he would try to clear things up. But nope, it doesn't happen. He stays passive and the two girls gets wrecked in their own ways. I know the dude just wants the pilot mechas, but still. Putting all the blame on Ichigo is a little excessive in my honest opinion. All parties had some contribution to the drama, and that's what I think makes Darling in the Franxx such an entertaining series, which is also why I'm so confused at why some people are actually hating on the producers or writers of the series. Anyways, what did you guys think of the latest drama surrounding this whole Ichigo fiasco? And do you think Ichigo is deserving of all the hate she's getting? As usual, I left a poll up there, and also let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to drop a thumbs up before you leave, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications if you want to be updated with the latest that's going on in Japan. and I'll see you guys in the next one.